Modern Pixar has a problem, a sequel problem. It's pretty common knowledge at this point that Pixar has become a sequel factory for Disney, and with the success of Inside Out 2, it looks like Pixar is now considering every property for potential sequels. This wasn't always the case. When initially founded, Pixar was intended to be a studio that developed nothing but original titles. In previous Pixar financial advisor Lawrence Levi's memoir, he quotes John Lasseter stating, "We don't always want to make safe films, we want to keep breaking barriers in story and animation. We have ideas for incredible original stories. It's so rare to do original work. That's what we can do. It's what we have to do." Within the span of their first 10 films, Pixar released a single sequel, Toy Story 2, probably my personal favorite Toy Story. Fight me in the comments. Then, something big happened. They got bought out by Disney.
Hey, what's up, kiddo? Daddy says you're wearing a sad face. Ain't good to have a sad face. Hey, how'd you like the coloring book? Would you like that? You like Mickey the Mouse? Oh, son of a bitch! Ooh. Now come on down to the car and let's all be friends.
In 2006, Disney acquired Pixar in a $7.4 billion deal. Pixar had 3 movies in production at the time: Ratatouille, WALL-E, and Up. The first movie made with complete backing from Disney was Toy Story 3, a sequel, followed by Cars 2, Brave, and Monsters University. Pixar's second set of 10 films would consist of 6 sequels and 4 original titles, some good and some stinkers depending on who you ask. After 2019's Toy Story 4, studio head Jim Morris said no more sequels. It's back to original films for Pixar, back to what the studio was meant to be. Starting with Onward, Pixar would be putting out bangers back to back, original classics. Well, Onward sucked, and something called the pandemic happened in 2020. I don't remember what that was, but I'm sure it was important to this whole story. Disney, having no confidence in Pixar, decided to put all these original titles straight onto their new streaming service, Disney+. Yes, the streaming service that had a fine print clause that allowed Disney to acquire the souls of all who signed up for the free trial. It didn't matter if these movies were good or not because Disney wrote them off as failures. They finally got back in theaters with Lightyear, a movie more known for having a lesbian character than anything else. Elemental also came out and was panned by just about everybody. Finally, summer 2024 hit, and Pixar put all the hopes on one film. If this film failed, it would most likely mean the end of Pixar. That summer, a film hit theaters that captured everything Pixar was known for: endearing characters, beautiful animation, and a plot that tickled the heartstrings and left audiences sobbing upon the credits rolling. Yes, I'm talking about Robot Dreams. What? You thought I was going to talk about Inside Out 2, the sequel that broke box office records for animated films and saved Pixar? Yeah, no. Inside Out 2 was just the plot of the first movie, but with new characters. They pulled in Incredibles 2 and just remade the movie with a new coat of paint. Nothing revolutionary and pretty disappointing. Well, I guess the nostalgia joke was pretty funny.
Yeah, those were the days.
Nostalgia. You aren't supposed to be here yet. You still have about 10 years, 2 graduations, and a best friend's wedding before you're invited, but I will keep you in the loop, I promise.
Nothing like a company that banks wholly on nostalgia poking fun at themselves. That would be like the same company making an entire film about weaponized nostalgia for a company they actively destroyed and cannibalized.
Go fuck yourself.
Let's talk about Robot Dreams, though. You probably know it as that movie that lost the Oscar to Boy and the Heron.
The Boy and the Heron, Hayao Miyazaki and Toshio Suzuki. Robot Dreams, Pablo Berger, Ivan Comensana, Ignacio Stape, and Sandra Tapia Diaz.
All right, and the Oscar goes to The Boy and the Heron.
心配になることないですか、スタジオの将来。
スタジオの将来ははっきりしてますよ。やっていけなくなります。それはもう目に見えてる。それ心配しててしょうがないです。どうにもならないです。
Or if you're really cool, then you know it as the adaptation of Sarah Varen's graphic novel. Robot Dreams is a Spanish-French co-production written and directed by Pablo Berger. Berger had a couple of successful live-action films, but he had never made an animated one. Polygon's interview with Berger quotes him discussing the reread of the graphic novel and the moment he decided to make the movie. This time, when I got to the end of the book, that last act, I was so moved by the story, it brought me truly to tears. I was so shaken by the story right there at the moment. I thought there was something very special about this book. That's when I decided to adapt and make an animated film, even if it was something new for me. Berger approached Cartoon Saloon of Wolfwalkers and Secret of Kells fame. These plans fell through due to the pandemic, and he ended up making his own animation studio in Spain, hiring artists from all over Europe to create a 2D feature. Berger discovered the joy of animation while creating the film, the expansive creativity that he and his artistic team could achieve. Animation is just a way to tell the story, and animation is not only for kids. There are so many great animated films that could be for kids, but could be for adults. His sentiments embodied everything that made classic Pixar quintessential. Pixar is at their best when they utilize animation to tell narratives through the animation first and foremost. The most memorable moments in Pixar films are often told without dialogue or through musical montage. Jesse's backstory scene in Toy Story 2, the entire first act of WALL-E, the opening of Up. These often heavy emotional scenes are what stick with us. They strike an emotional nerve that resonates with the audience and conveys universal experiences without a reliance on exposition. These types of narratives are often restricted to sections of movies. They are often short films within the actual film, but what if this short film mentality was extended to the entire movie? This is the impetus of Robot Dreams, a feature-length film without a single line of spoken dialogue. All plot, character, and world details are delivered through the animation, sound design, and music. This makes Robot Dreams a universal picture that can be appreciated in any language. It's a Spanish-French production that takes place in New York City, populated by anthropomorphic animals. They are characters that anyone could identify with, be they a child or adult. It's a picture that recaptures the magic of classic animation, the silly symphonies and wild antics of animated rabbits and mice that helped Disney and iWorks build a foundation for what is now an empire. In the same interview with Polygon, Berger stated, "I like to make an analogy with film. Films for me are like a lasagna. They are different layers. Every audience gets a different layer," he says. In a way, it looks back to when I was a kid and I saw the same film as my parents. Some of the films that have released in the last decade seem to be catered just for cinephiles, or just for commercial audiences, or just for children. I think Robot Dreams is really for a wide audience. It's a film made for everyone with the intention of telling a heartfelt story that can only be conveyed through animation. Meanwhile, Disney's Pixar is churning out sequels that are carbon copies of their previous films. And with the success of Inside Out 2, it looks like this is going to be the only thing they're doing from here on out. I desperately hope Elio is successful, showing Disney that original concepts are still viable. However, Disney seems hellbent on turning Pixar into a profitable sequel factory rather than the initial creative collective that Jobs and Lasseter imagined it as. It's reassuring to know that even in 2024, a year plagued by sequels and remakes, there's still hope. Films like Robot Dreams prove that the Pixar dream still lives on. It just isn't at Pixar anymore. Thanks for watching this little video essay. I had to just get this off my chest after watching Robot Dreams for the third or fourth time and still getting very teary-eyed by the finale. If you'd like to see more videos like this, then check out some of my other video essays. I also have a Patreon with an exclusive video and more to come. As always, I'd like to shout out my patron Blake Partridge, Thanks for watching, and go watch Robot Dreams. It's really good. I think I'm gonna go watch it right now. Where did I put those tissues at?